limitations if a victim chooses not to report. No, a victim's choice to report or not report does not affect the statute of limitations. So if a victim of sexual abuse in any way, sexual abuse in the first degree.
What David just said is well-intended, righteous.
I second that.
Why are certain pressures being applied in light of that? It's actually quite the opposite. The only reason anything is happening is because pressure is being applied, and otherwise there is denial and obfuscation and attempts to hinder. And that's a sad part of the truth of it. And so
Good morning. Please support your local food bank, Drug and Alcohol Center. Just gonna set up. Morning. Have a great day. Come over here, it's sunny out. It's actually quite cold out here in Canada. So please join me in prayer for everyone who's been affected by this. First of all, the victims and the advocates standing up to you victims. How you doing? So, I'm just going to do a quick video. This just came out yesterday. This is Dean Briggs. He's the one that said this.
Room full of faithful witnesses. I'm being a faithful witness to my brothers. There is more to be shared, and what David just said is well-intended, righteous.
I second that.
And I believe that you need to address this in a different way, with a greater degree of transparency, or this is not going to be a trustworthy process.
And in that video, that woman that said, I second this. And I thought, when I heard that, it resonated with me that, whoa, there's something wrong going on at this leadership. And that's what set me on the course of doing videos. Now, he just came out yesterday and he said this.
yeah, so I'll be brief and I'll choose my words carefully. But I do know there's a lot of conversation out there and questions, and I'll say this. I was as shocked and disbelieving as everyone is when they first hear that Mike Bickle is in a Matthew 18 process. The allegations, as far as I'm concerned, along with a number of other former leaders that really have nothing to gain. None of us have anything to gain. The people that are coming forward have nothing to gain. But there is high consensus among us that these allegations are legitimate. There's more than one alleged victim coming forward. Their stories are credible. The way the stories emerged was spontaneous and uncoordinated between them, with too many similarities between them to be ignored. There's a lot of emotion and volatility around this because Mike is a hero to so many, and the integrity, his reputation for integrity is one of the most unmatched at that level among the leaders of the body of Christ at this time and in the earth. And so it's particularly devastating on so many levels. But I can say this, if any other man or woman was privy to the details that are coming forward, you would feel compelled to act as well. The challenge is there's honestly, I'm being really tested and stretched in my own very necessary, weighty matters of justice and righteousness in the midst of the body, and perhaps years and decades of misrepresentation that have created platforms of significant influence that do not have fundamental integrity and are therefore the house needs to be cleaned up and the foundation needs to be set right. And these are challenging things to walk in those two worlds. I want full redemption and restoration, and I want to cover as much as can be covered. But I think most of those things apply when there is a spirit of repentance and humility in the heart of the one who has failed or fallen. And when there is not, and when there is denial, then you have to press ahead. And it can be compared to toxins in the body. If it's a minor toxin, you can sleep it off. If it's a major toxin, you have to go to the ER and pump the stomach. And the entire system is jeopardized. And you know, I want to briefly address a comment that was made. The way this is being managed, it's very hard from a remote. I know I would have certain opinions and concerns if I wasn't in the middle of this with a certain knowledge of how things are happening behind the scenes and what's maneuvering behind the scenes. And it could look like there is a certain process that is happening, but it's only happening because there has been a steady stream of pressure applied. The forces at work are not necessarily cooperating. And so some of what looks like and statements that have been made, it could appear that there is more cooperation than is what is actually happening. And therefore, why are certain pressures being applied in light of that? It's actually quite the opposite. The only reason anything is happening is because pressure is being applied, and otherwise there is denial and obfuscation and attempts to hinder. And that's a sad part of the truth of it. And so, yeah, I'm going to be done.
This is only happening because it has been a steady stream of pressure applied to the forces at work are not necessarily cooperating, and some looks like the statements that have been made appear that there's more coordination than is actually happening. What he's saying is that he sees it's misleading the public of IHOP. And that's why the public pressure is so important, that we're speaking out against the leadership of IHOP, demanding a third-party investigation. We're seeking the truth. If you haven't signed up for the petition, I'm encouraging all my viewers and friends. Thank you for the friends that have signed it already. So we need a third-party investigation. We're seeking truth. If you love Mike, if you love IHOP, you need a third-party investigation. Right? Therefore, we are certain pressure putting on applied to the light. It's actually quite the opposite. Only reason anything is happening is because pressure is being applied. And otherwise, it's denial, obfuscation, and attempts to hinder. All right. And that's where we come from, hiring Stinson and now a private lawyer. They're not releasing any names. They're lawyered up. And speaks volumes. We still don't have a statement from Mike. He doesn't respond to critics. And I do want to include this video. This is a guy named Richard. I listened to the podcast this morning. Thought he did a great job. I'll leave a link in the description for his video.
So that's the point of this, making this quick video. I want people to see this, that you can report your felony sex crime. If you are a victim, or if you as a pastor have heard about any of these sex crimes, if you feel there was felony sex crimes, then you can still report it to social services if someone's under 18 and to the police if someone's over 18. Disclaimer, this episode of Churchpreneurs Podcast has some sensitive information about the sexual allegations concerning Mike Bickle and IHOP, or International House of Prayer, that made of Missouri. Kansas City is in Missouri. Missouri has a statute of limitations for its most serious felony sex crimes, including sexual abuse in the first degree. I looked it up here. I can whirl up my desktop now since I've got it all up. Statute of Limitations section for the state of Missouri. Let's have a look. Statute of Limitations for Missouri has a statute of limitations for its most serious felony sex crimes, including sexual abuse in the first degree. Does this state reduce a statute of limitations if a victim chooses not to report? No. A victim's choice to report or not report does not affect the statute of limitations. So if a victim of sexual abuse in any way, sexual abuse in the first degree, can include all sorts of things, not just including rape, that person, that victim, does not even have to report for the police to prosecute sex crimes, felony sex crimes. And then it says, does this state have exemptions to statute of limitations for DNA evidence? No. You don't have to always even present any kind of DNA evidence. Statute of limitations for its most serious felony sex crimes, 21 years or more. So these women are people who are coming forward. Statute of limitations is still probably in existence for most people. They still can prosecute some of these crimes if they're crimes. If some of these victims feel so inclined, they could still report their sexual abuse to the police if it's a felony sex crime. The executive leadership committee team of IHOP, they have information of rape or felony sex crimes by anybody at their church. They should report it to the police. They can still report it. I'm an advocate for that. I'm saying that with the most emphasis I can say. That's the point of making this quick video today. I want them to see this. I want people to see this, that you can report your felony sex crime. If you are a victim, or if you as a pastor have heard about any of these sex crimes, if there were sex crimes, if you feel there was felony sex crimes, then you can still report it to social services if someone's under 18 and to the police if someone's over 18. So I don't know why these people who are in this Heaven Bent podcast, I don't know why the staff did not report it. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you've been trained anywhere as a pastor in any kind of seminary or any kind of training, in your in-house training for your staff of what you do, your pastoral staff of what you do, if you have someone come to you who's reporting a felony sex crime or sexual abuse or physical abuse, you should know in-house what you do as a staff. And if you don't, if you're looking at this as a churchpreneur is looking at this and you're on church staff, and you don't know what you're meant to do, go immediately to your senior pastor and let's talk this out. What do we do if someone comes to us, I'm counseling someone and they say I've been sexually abused by someone or been physically abused by someone? What do we do? And you immediately need to come to a good, solid plan of how and when to report, because you're mandated reporters. Almost every single state in the United States has mandated reporting laws. You must report.
All right. Done with this video. Thank you for watching. If you could leave a comment, like the video. The only reason I ask people to like my video is more people will get to see with the analytics of YouTube and Facebook. When people click the video, more people can see. We can get some more signatures for the petition for Grace to get involved. Also, there's a link in the description for Mr. Bowles. He's an advocate for the victims, and we are praying for you. All my viewers are praying for you. All over the world, people are praying for you. If you've been harmed by IHOP, we love you, and there is healing. Last point is that just like this guy, Richard, this was a few years ago, but I speak Spanish. Entonces, yo hablo español. I graduated in Mexico. Me graduated mi escuela in the Ciudad de Mexico, in the city of Mexico. And fue un trabajo. It was hard work para aprender como hablar español. It took me a lot of work to speak Spanish. Anyways, the reason I do some translation there is that there was a lady that she was scared. She was being victimized, and she didn't speak English. She spoke broken English, but she didn't have the confidence to go to the police. And I'm an advocate, so we went straight down to the police department, and I translated for her. We made a police report. And it's so important that the police are involved instantly when it's anything to do with, you don't feel safe. We're talking about clergy sexual misconduct. The first thing for any leader is to go straight to the police as soon as you hear about it. And like I said, I quite often talking to the police. I just did a police statement last week. I watched somebody die, overdose, and or I'm talking to doctors or advocates. That's what I do full time. This morning I was speaking Spanish to a director of an outreach center, and as Christian leaders, the first response, the instant thought will be directly to the police. Only with this is that, somebody's going to have to pay for all these lawyers. And, IHOP has hired their private lawyers with church money. I'm pretty sure it's not coming out of their pockets. They have a humongous organization. Now, what about the victims? What about the advocates? I could easily see this becoming, one second. If people have been protecting any type of abuse inside of clergy abuse, well, this is all got to come out. This has got to be exposed. And that's what we're doing with the public pressure. And, ultimately, our hope is in the Lord, that in God's sovereignty, He will set everything straight in His timing. Now, while we're here on earth, it's responsible for strong men and strong women to advocate for the victims. Done with this video. Thank you for watching. I'm going to upload this right now. I'm done my street outreach for the day. And thank you for everyone who watched. Please join me in prayer for the victims. Have a great day. May the Lord bless you. Keep you strong in the faith. And always remember, Brother John loves you. Bye.